We got 4 rookies playing significant roles on our offense. It wasn't fluid sledding early on. We've seen consistent signs of improvement. Maybe you guys will start believing us.
Look, man. Look, okay. I'm always down Mike Smith from Mike Tomlin's sound. Always about it. It's enjoyable no matter what he's talking about. But I couldn't disagree with him more here. It is not the job of the Pittsburgh media, the East Coast media, the national media, international media to believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know they've got a pretty good track record. We know Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. We know he's very good at what he does. But it makes it even better if you have some doubt going into a game with the Cleveland Browns where the Browns are favored to beat the Steelers. They were ahead of them going into that game in the standings. And this is one of those rare cases where Steelers beating the Browns is considered an upset, despite Ben Roethlisberger's record and by extension Mike Tomlin's record.
And despite the Browns stinking on offense.
Right. We can see it, though. Couldn't you see this coming? Couldn't you see this coming a mile away? I think we may have even mentioned it last week that, this is the kind of week where the Steelers step up, especially since Tomlin had his very theatrical, very entertaining response to the USC question. There are 2 ways to go with that. They go out, the Steelers go out and win, or it's a distraction and they lose by 30. I think we all knew they were going to beat the Browns. Not a surprise. You?
No, I don't know about that.
Ooh,
well, I'll say this.
You
Speaking of stuff that you could see coming, I could see a run coming. If the Steelers are to be believed and believed in, you hate to look at the schedule in the NFL, ask the Bengals about that, but they get the Bears at home Monday night. They get the Lions at home the following Sunday. Then they go to the Chargers, who we don't know what the freaking Chargers are now. Talking about, crowning them too prematurely. Or maybe that's just a testament to the Patriots growing and maturing. But nonetheless, the next few weeks, they could string together some wins before they got to face off against the Bengals and Ravens in back-to-back weeks at the end of November, beginning of December. No, I can't say that I definitely saw it coming, even though they won back-to-back, albeit against the Broncos and Seahawks. So that as talented and as good as that Steelers defense is, they have benefited from running up against some, shall we say, challenged offensive outfits. And yesterday, man, just looking at yesterday's game, look, you play who's in front of you, and it ain't their fault that the Browns are not living up to the preseason hype. Talk about stuff we should have saw coming. Browns are also beat up.
Exactly.
Browns are also beat up. But they're lucky. Steelers are lucky to have survived yesterday because that was a one-score victory, 15-10, in which Mike Tomlin called for a fake field goal that almost got his kicker killed, got him knocked out of the game. But it wasn't just the fake field goal, which, okay, you're being aggressive, and okay, that's fine. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, blah, blah, okay, whatever. Wasn't just that. It was, I don't know that they thought through the operation enough because it nearly bit him in the ass in the form of they don't have a backup kicker. The punter doesn't kick off or place kick, okay? Ben Roethlisberger is the emergency holder. But in this case, they didn't want to put the emergency holder, as in the starting quarterback, at risk because the usual holder, who is the punter, I believe, who doesn't kick or kick off, might kick Ben Roethlisberger's hands, and his hands may end up looking like Matt Ryan's hands looked yesterday. Right. So long story short, they can't attempt any extra points or field goals. So they're forced to go for 2, not to mention kicking it off out of bounds, giving them field position. So I think they were looking at Roethlisberger as the emergency holder in the event that something happened to the holder, not the kicker. So they might have to go rethink this whole, kicking operation. Bottom line is this. If Cleveland were any better on offense, okay, And I know they beat up.
Okay.
But if Cleveland were, if it was a fifth, fine. If my aunt was, my uncle, I know all of that. I know all of that. I know all of that
stuff. Right.
I say all that to say that, look, that was a very Steelers-like, workman-like lunch pail victory yesterday. And Pittsburgh's won 3 in a row, and you are what your record says you are, and I get it. But I don't know how much to eat my words about the Steelers, about this being the year that things kind of fall apart. Shout out to Chinua Achebe and the Roots. I don't know if I should eat my words just yet. And could this be a repeat of last year where the Steelers were just not as good as their record last year? And we saw that down the stretch. And we certainly saw it in the playoffs. Like, they may stack up some wins coming up here, but I don't know that they're that good. They still have some flaws there. Ben Roethlisberger didn't all of a sudden dip his toe in the fountain of youth and become a better, a younger, different quarterback. I think they're benefiting from some inept opponents right now. They can't do anything about that, and they should not apologize for that. But I'm not about to sit up here and say, "Oh, my bad." The Steelers, they're a threat in the air. I don't know yet. I want to wait and see on this one.
A few things on this. One, last year they didn't have this little situation going on here in the first, weeks 2 through 5, or 2 through 4, all those losses.
Yeah, they won their first 11 last year.
What, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there?
Might have been 11. Yeah.
But remember, even when they were winning games last year, Mike Tomlin
kept
saying,
ugly
I
and
don't
close.
like the way we're playing.
Yep.
Yeah, all these things, until he came up with this great quote at the end of the year. We were a ball club that died on the vine. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mike. But I'm not sure how the cliche goes. Is it something like necessity is the mother of invention? Is something like that?
That's exactly it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. That's
All
it.
right.
That's
so
spot on.
We had Mike White catching a touchdown pass yesterday. Not that was a huge. They'll go to that
2-point conversion.
But you had a quarterback.
It was a 2-point conversion, but yeah.
You had a quarterback.
Yeah.
Catching a pass, a scoring play for Mike White, the quarterback.
Yeah.
We've seen many coaches who have put offensive linemen in as fullbacks and guys who switch positions. We saw you covered Troy Brown, who went from a wide receiver to a cornerback and had over 250 snaps as a corner, as a wide receiver. Point is, look, you figure it out. So I'm not gonna beat up Mike Tomlin because his kicker took a hit that wasn't dirty. He just took a hit. It was really a hit to the chest.
It wasn't? It could have been
roughing. Was it dirty?
It could have been roughing. It looked a little excessive, especially the way they call it nowadays.
It's only roughing because it's 2021.
Maybe, but bottom
really
line, I'm not saying you don't call the play. I mean, look,
figure it out though.
Yeah, but they couldn't figure it out.
Figure it out.
They couldn't. They were compromised. I'm saying they were fortunate to get out of there with a win yesterday. They were compromised.
So they were compromised.
They could not kick.
You know what that means, Mike?
Because they didn't have a backup kicker, and the emergency holder couldn't hold because the punter, they were scared he's going to kick his hands. I'm not making this up. This is what happened. So they were going for 2 even after a holding penalty from the 12-yard line. They were going for they were forced to go for 2.
What else happened?
That could have bit them in the ass if the Browns had scored more than 17 points in a game, and yesterday they scored 10. Shout out to the Steelers defense. I tip of the hat.
This is what I feel
the Steelers defense.
A couple things. One, you had 2 compromised teams going at it yesterday because the Browns were banged up and the Steelers were banged up. So it was even. So it was a level playing field, and the Steelers won on the shores of Lake Erie. But I feel like I got a taste of what Savannah and Mason and Maya have to put up with from Dad. Because if my theme is,
don't be bringing my kids
here we
into
go.
This, though. Don't be bringing my kids.
Hey, no, hold on.
Stay out of my house.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm in your house right now.
Now you didn't go too far.
I'm in your house every day.
You are.
I'm in your house every day. Look, if Michael Holley is the hold on to the draft picks and what about the future and all that stuff and you got to think about it. Michael Smith is, listen, you got out of that situation, but you know what could have happened. And I'm disappointed in you in what you did and what could have happened because You beating up Mike Tomlin on what could have happened yesterday. You beat up the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson for what could have happened when they got their franchise record that you think nobody cares about, but they care about only in Baltimore. I don't care what could have happened. I know what did happen. The Steelers won a tough divisional game over an opponent they weren't expecting to beat.
That's interesting you say that.
And now they're going that arrow.
That's interesting you say that.
We're going up
because you forget that I got a tape recorder for a brain. Because you the same so and so. Almost cussed just now. You the same so and so the morning after or the day after the Ravens beat the Chiefs. Oh, they can't replicate that. They can't expect to win games that way all the time. So, okay, like we both move goalposts when it's convenient. I'm not saying, look, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm saying have a better contingency plan in place. Just have a better contingency plan. Did he think that his kicker was going to get knocked out when he called the play? Of course not. But since he did, they had no way of kicking off, let alone kicking field goals or extra points, and against a better opponent that could have compromised them. I'm not about to sit up here waving a terrible towel because you're beating the Broncos, Seahawks, and Browns. Not yet. Love Mike Tomlin. Love the Steelers organization. I know he's never had a losing season. Okay? But what I also know is the Browns are crap. And they got a bunch of problems in Cleveland. Injuries, personnel, personality, whatever you want to call it, they got issues in Cleveland. Okay. And they're going to beat a crap Bears team next week. And then a crap Lions team the week after that. So they'll be sitting up here at, I guess, what did that make them, 5-2 or 6-2? Whatever that would make them, or 6-3, whatever that would make them at the time, their record, to me, may not be representative of how good they actually are. Or, Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. We got to go to break. You got anything to say on the way out, since you're talking about me and my parenting skills?
No. I mean, your parenting skills, I'm sure you've done a great job. You've done a wonderful job there. Like, you know what? We're all proud of you. You know, it's been awesome.
And Ringo's proud of you.
But I tell you, Mike Tomlin is saying, let's get through this game against the Browns, which we always do. So we'll figure it out against the Browns. Our kicker is out. And then, we'll sign a kicker. Because I think we can sign a kicker in the National Football League. We'll get a kicker for next week.
Is it that easy? Okay.
Yeah.
Not in this league.
Yes, it is.
Not this year, not in this league. Oh, no, it ain't. No, the hell it ain't. Lord, the hell it ain't. They don't make extra points, let alone field goals most of them nowadays. But, again, resilient win on the part of the Steelers.